Yo, what's up guys? This is Schultz31 back with a brand new video. Today I want to talk about Georgia offensive coordinator Mike Bobo and whether this is a good or bad idea for the Georgia Bulldogs. Before we talk about Mike Bobo and what my thoughts are on him at Georgia, first we need to talk about who he is and how he got here. Mike Bobo was originally a very talented and legendary quarterback for the University of Georgia back in the 1990s. His senior year in 1997, he threw for 2,751 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Even though he was a good college quarterback, he still was not good enough to make the NFL, so he decided to go straight into coaching. He started out as a grad assistant at Georgia, his alma mater. After 1 year of that, he then went to go be the quarterback's coach of Jacksonville State, before then coming back after 1 year to be the quarterback's coach at Georgia under Mark Richt. He was then promoted to offensive coordinator in 2007. Bobo had a major impact as offensive coordinator, as he had very effective offenses and was always able to produce elite quarterbacks like Aaron Murray, David Green, and Matthew Stafford. Bobo was also a finalist for the Broyles Award in 2012. The next 2 years, though, Bobo's offense would noticeably regress and some fans were frustrated. However, Bobo would actually leave Georgia at the end of the 2014 season to become the next head football coach for the Colorado State Rams. His first 3 seasons, he'd have 3 in a row winning seasons, going 7-6. However, losing all 3 of their bowl games. He did have some of the best offenses in school history, though, apparently. His defenses, though, not so much. However, he'd unfortunately have 2 back-to-back losing seasons in his last 2 seasons as the head coach of Colorado State, going 3-9 and then 4-8, and then he was eventually let go. He went a combined 28-38 as the head coach of the Rams. Bobo would then come back to the SEC yet again as an offensive coordinator for the South Carolina Gamecocks, reuniting with his old teammate, then South Carolina head coach, Will Muschamp. Many people thought Bobo was going to be that offensive coordinator that South Carolina had long needed, that was going to produce elite quarterbacks the same way he did at Georgia. However, Bobo wouldn't have the same kind of success at South Carolina that he had at UGA. His offense would be ranked 12th in the SEC, and after a 2-5 start to the season, Will Muschamp would get fired, and Bobo would actually take over as the interim head coach. He would coach the team's last 3 games of the season. Unfortunately, though, he would come up short in all 3 of those games, but would almost beat Missouri after a quarterback change. Bobo would be retained after the 2020 season by South Carolina. However, he would leave 2 weeks later to take the offensive coordinator job at Auburn. Many people thought Bobo would have more to work with at Auburn, and many people also thought he would develop Bo Nix into a superstar. But that didn't happen. Instead, Bobo's offense would struggle. And then, after 4 in a row blown leads to finish out the regular season, Bobo was fired after just 1 season at Auburn. Bobo would then head back to his alma mater, the University of Georgia, and he would take over as an offensive analyst for the 2022 season. However, going into 2023, he has been promoted to the offensive coordinator, his old job. So overall, why do I think this is a huge risk the University of Georgia is taking, especially with someone who has been a great offensive coordinator for them before? Well, Mike Bobo's offenses were both terrible at Auburn and South Carolina. Many people will try to say he didn't have much to work with at either school, but in all honesty, he did. Plus, when you look at the mistakes he made, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. Those kind of mistakes are pitiful. At South Carolina, he had 2 highly rated 4-star quarterbacks, one of them being Ryan Hilinski, who the year before had started and shown a ton of flash, throwing for over 2,000 yards and 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And he also had highly rated 4-star quarterback Luke Doty, Instead, Bobo decided to start grad transfer Colin Hill, who he brought with him from Colorado State, who never even really looked impressive at Colorado State, and benched Ryan Helinski in favor of Colin Hill. And as you know, Colin Hill, of course, did not play well at all during the season. Instead, Helinski would sit on the bench for the whole season, and this unfortunately would ruin Helinski's football career. Helinski has never really seemed to recover from this, all thanks to Bobo. And overall, the offense ranked 12th in the SEC, and the team went 2-8. And it doesn't get much better at Auburn, as while he was at Auburn, he was expected, like I said earlier, to develop Bo Nix. But he ultimately seemed to set Bo Nix back. His offenses always choked and blew leads. He called a horrible 4th and 1 passing play that cost Auburn the game against Penn State, despite having elite running back Tanks Bigsby, who easily could have ran it in on a 4th and 1 and had played great all game. Since Bobo was fired at Auburn, Bo Nix transferred to Oregon and has turned into a star where he's played some of his best football there. Even though Bobo was a good offensive coordinator for Georgia from 2007 to 2014, his last 3 jobs have been absolute disasters. Despite what I've mentioned, there are still some good things about Mike Bobo. For example, when he was at South Carolina, he actually recruited and got a 5-star quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, who, after Bobo departed ways with the Gamecocks, flipped to Georgia, where Bobo would later end up, ironically. And although the lack of talent at Auburn and South Carolina, like I said, does not excuse his poor performances there, he still has a lot more to work with at Georgia, which is one of the reasons why I think he was so successful through 2007 to 2014. Either that, or Bobo might just be burnt out. But then again, I really do not like to say that Bobo is burnt out. He's a lot younger than he looks. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and comment down below what your thoughts are on Mike Bobo.